Hello, Libra. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your December 2022 Tarotscope. If you're curious about the decks that I'm using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts, as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. I would like to remind you that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so please only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. There will be a timestamp in the description box if you would like to bypass shuffling. If not, let's jump right in and see what this month has in store for you, Libra. So we are going to be looking at what's being activated for you this month. How is what's being activated going to help you? Diving a little bit deeper into that with the tarot, and then looking at why is this important for your soul's journey and getting any guidance, advice, or encouragement for you moving forward. All right, Libra, let's see what's going on for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what's being activated for Virgo? Okay, maybe some of you have Virgo in your chart, or you are close to a Virgo or something. If that is true for you, check out that reading. Okay. For example, if you have perhaps your moon or rising sign are in Virgo, check out the previous reading, right? So Libra, let's try this again. What's being activated for Libra this month, please? What's being activated for Libra? Nope. Okay. What's being activated for Libra for December? Thank you. December 2022, please. I feel like there's another one in here. What is being activated for Libra this month? Okay, yep, that one too. Thank you. How is what's being activated going to help Libra, please? Thank you. Yep, just the one. Oh, nope, this one too. Okay. Usually I don't do that, but for whatever reason. Can we have some clarity on how what's being activated is going to help Libra, please? Thank you. Are there more? Yes. Can we have some clarity on how what's being activated is going to help Libra? Yeah, okay, these two, thank you. For some of you, I feel like you may feel like you keep hitting roadblock after roadblock, or you keep hitting a wall, right? And I'll just use the cards I just used simply because we already know what cards are out for that. If you notice, like there's been a lot of me kind of shuffling and hitting the deck, right? And that for me is, I don't know why, this is not something I would normally get, but it's telling me right now that there are blocks or barriers that you feel like you're hitting over and over and over again. Why is what's being activated for Libra important for their soul journey? Why is this important for Libra's soul journey, please? Why is this important for Libra's soul journey? Thank you. Yeah, just the one. Oh, there's two there actually. Okay. Thank you. Can we please have some guidance, advice, or encouragement for Libra moving forward? Guidance, advice, or encouragement for Libra moving forward, please. Thank you. That's it. Okay. Interesting. All right, let me just grab these and stack them all up, and then we will start to dive in. Okay, Libra, what's being activated for you this month? You do have Order of Melchizedek, Embraced by Light, Mission Uncovered, Don't Give Up. So for some of you, okay, For some of you, I feel like you may have felt like you've been hitting a wall because you haven't been aligned with purpose. And I feel like for a lot of you, God's like, nope, 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 nope. You can't keep going this way because this is not where you're supposed to be. Right? I feel like God is throwing up roadblocks to say, nope, this is not the right way. Nope, this is not the right way. Nope, this is not the right way. Right? And it could be something that you may even have thought like, oh, this is definitely my thing or whatever. But I feel like God has been throwing up these roadblocks because it's not the way you're supposed to be going. Right? And I feel like if you haven't, by December, through the month of December, you may have the opportunity to discover what your mission is, right? Why are you here? What are you supposed to be doing? And, oftentimes that's something that is much bigger than ourselves. Our ego and all of these sorts of things try to tell us that it's about us and our own personal experience, and that's it. Simply not the case, right? We have, yes, things that we are meant to be experiencing, learning, going through as souls, right, as individuals, but we also have missions or purpose that are much larger than ourselves that usually have to do with service to humanity. Now, that may not be for everyone. However, more often than not, in what I've seen, you can have all the money in the world, and if you're not aligned with purpose, eventually you're going to be unhappy. Because whatever it is, the worldly things are not fulfilling. Not the same way that a purpose greater than yourself is. Right? So I do feel like, again, for some of you, you may be through the month of December or by its end, perhaps, have the opportunity to really uncover what your purpose is here, right? What are you doing here? And I feel like it's interesting because you have this embraced by light, and like I was getting those roadblocks, and then I said I feel like God's throwing up roadblocks, and I want you to know that that's happening for you, not to you. You are literally being embraced by God because God is saying, this is not the way you're supposed to be going. I care about you, I love you, and I'm going to protect you from things that aren't meant for you. Right? You may feel like, why does this always happen? Why is God doing this? God is a teacher. God is trying to teach you something, right? Very much like a father would, or a parent would, right? We have heard, many of us, God, especially in religion, be referred to as a father, the Father. Jesus referred to God as the Father, right? And so, like a father would, right, teach you lessons, right? And a father would protect you. And there are times that a father will let you do what you want to do, right? Even if that means you end up hurting yourself, to show you this is not what you want, right? A good example of this would be, and this is something from back when I was a kid, I'm not encouraging this by any means, right? But back when I was a kid, a lot of people in my family and in my mom's social group had wood burning stoves. Okay. And, as a kid, it's like, oh, I want to be close to it. I want to be close to it. And mom's like, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Don't get too close. It's hot. Right. And I'm just doing whatever. And then there comes a point where I burnt the back, like the inside of my knee or the underside of my, I don't even know what that's called, but I literally burnt the back of my leg. Right. And it's like, I had to, oops, sorry guys, hopefully that wasn't loud, I just hit the table. I had to experience that to learn, like, oh, that's really hot. It will melt my freaking skin, right? But it taught me to not get too freaking close, to be cautious, to be careful, right? And similarly, I feel God is trying to do this for you now, right? Through the month of December, I feel like God is trying to show you, like, I am embracing you. I love you. I care for you. I want you to be going the way that is best for you. Because I can see things that you can't see. I know plans you don't know, and I'm trying to guide you and lead you. So while you feel or may feel like you've been hitting roadblock after roadblock, really it's God redirecting you for your own protection. And I feel like God is trying to, creator, source, universe, whatever you call it, is trying to align you with what is good for you. Okay? And then, you have here, don't give up, because, and I feel like this message at the back here, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of small. But that end tail message there, that don't give up, I feel like that's coming through for you, because I feel like God is acknowledging it's going to be hard, right? It's going to be hard to set aside your own egoic wants and needs, okay, to fulfill something that is greater than you, right? You have to push aside your flesh, right? And I'm not trying to push religion on anybody. I actually don't really have a religion, right? But I do believe in God, and I do believe in Jesus and the ascended masters. And I do feel like there's a message coming through from God to say, or to encourage you to not give up, because it is going to be very hard, right? Even, I mean, think about this, you guys. When everything's said and done, do you think Jesus was excited about having to die? Probably not, right? He was probably pretty freaking scared, to be truthful, because after all, like, he did have a fleshly body, a worldly body. He was in a human body, and he experienced all of the pain that his, I don't even know what the accusers pushed upon him, or subjected him to, rather. Thank you. Right? So, and I'm not saying by any means that that's what it's going to be for you, right? But to push aside what you want to do, or what you think is right, to follow what God says, no, this is not the way you're supposed to be going, right? For you to be obedient to your mission, your purpose, you have to be willing to push aside things, and it's not easy. And I feel like this is why God is saying, don't give up. Don't give up. Because in the end, it will be worth it, right? In the end, you will know what your purpose is. You will feel like you have a reason for being here, right? And that changes your life. From my experience, it changes your life. You also have here solar upgrade, solar plexus chakra, inner fire, willpower. Yeah, don't give up. Like, it is going to take every bit of courage, every bit of inner strength, every bit of fire for you to be able to create transformation, to create change, to create, what is the word? I don't want to say improvement, right? But it does, but it feels like that. Like, to experience life in a different way, it's going to require you to be committed, for you to pull down deep and grab onto that inner strength, right? It's going to need that fire ignited within you. And I feel like this is being activated for you to help you to push on, to carry on, right? And I feel like, again, God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, I don't care what the label is trying to help you, right? But you have to do the work too. And I think in another reading recently, like I told you, I think it might have been November's reading, like, or maybe September's, I'm not sure. But in one of them, I said something along the lines of, like, you have to be willing to walk the walk. And this is very similar energy. Like, don't give up, dig down deep, right? If you want to experience life differently, you have to do things differently, period. And it's going to take determination. It's going to take perseverance. It's going to take courage. It's going to take that inner fire, ambition, that inspiration, that drive, that passion, right? To want something different in order to create the change. But like, God will keep trying to redirect you, right? God will make shit fall apart. However, but at the end of the day, like, you do have an element of free will. God's not going to do it for you. Like, it's a relationship that you have with God. It's not a God just showering blessings on you just for shits and giggles, right? Like, I think a good way of looking at this is like, if you want God to answer prayers, you actually have to pray, type of thing, right? You have to meet God halfway. You have to put in some kind of effort, right? Yeah, and you have the Holy Grail, inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek. Yeah, this is an inside job, Libra. I feel like whatever you're experiencing, however this resonates with you, right? I feel like the things that are coming up for you in the month of December are really about you figuring out who the hell you are. At least for a good chunk of you, right? Because I feel like some of you don't know your own truth. I really do feel that, right? I feel like some of you don't know your true self. Probably, I don't know. If some of you may, right? But I feel like for a majority of the people who are going to hear this, I don't think you know yourself. And even if you do know yourself to some extent, I don't feel like you trust yourself. And I don't feel like what you are experiencing on a day-to-day basis is something that feels exciting to you, feels exhilarating, feels full of life. I don't feel like what you are experiencing day to day makes you feel alive. Like, I don't mean, right? Because there's a difference between living and being alive. And I feel like for some of you, or for, a better chunk of you, I don't know that you actually feel alive on a day-to-day basis. I feel like for some of you, there's probably this like feeling of like you're just living the same day over and over and over again. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is, doesn't matter what you're doing, right? But the feel of the day feels the same every day. And I feel like this is about you figuring out you so that you can experience life in a different way, which does make you feel alive, full, right? You have a cup. I know it's a grail, but like from a tarot perspective, it's like a cup. And I'm getting a lot of fear. I don't know what that's about. But oh, thank you, Lord. Yeah, that's what it's about. So cups and tarot are emotions, feelings, relationships, your intuition, love, serenity, spirituality, those sorts of things, right? The feeling things. It can also be your habits as well as healing, right? But a lot more than any of it, it's feeling. And I think some of you have this fear of feeling. Some of you, I feel, aren't willing to sit in your own cup, feel your own things, experience yourself fully, right? And because I feel this, it feels to me, and this analogy keeps coming up in reading after reading after reading. So I feel like Source is trying to push a lot of us to make changes in this space. But the example goes something like this. When you create walls between you and you and your truth, okay? Whatever that looks like, pain, right? It can be good, bad, ugly. Pain, suffering, joy, whatever it is. When you do not allow yourself to sit in your truth, feel your truth, right? And you put up this wall between the things. For a lot of people, there's this, fear of feeling pain, of rejection maybe, or whatever it is. And so you put this wall up where it's like, oh no, I'm fine, right? Like, oh, I don't feel afraid right now. Or, oh, I, like biting your tongue. Like I'm actually seeing it as like biting your tongue. Like you want to say things, but you don't. When you do that, again, you put up this wall between you and yourself, which then in turn creates walls between you and the world, which means you and relationships, you and people, you and your spirituality, or you and God. Like any of the walls you put them up not just from you, but from everyone. And you may think that it's not impacting your life. Oh, I'm just not telling myself that I love myself, right? Like, oh, I'm just not giving myself love. because, maybe you're like, I don't deserve it or whatever. Well, okay. But if you don't know how to love you, how can you know how to love other people? How can you know what that feels like? How can you know what that is? If you can't respond to your own truth, to honor what you feel, what you experience, how can anyone trust you to honor their experience and what they feel? Just some thoughts to consider, right? I feel like this month for you, Libra, if you are resonating with this at all, I feel like this month for you could be a little bit more on the challenging side, right? But the more that you open up, the more you do the work, the more that you lean into that sacredness within yourself, the more you lean into what you are, who you are, your truth, I feel like the easier it's going to be, right? The more resistance that you have to these things, the harder it's going to feel. So how is what's being activated going to help you, Libra? Joy. Yeah, it's going to help you to experience joy because, again, like I was saying, I don't feel like you really love life. Like I don't feel like it feels like almost every day is the same. And how can that be fun, right? Uh I think I also use the reference of like you can be living but not truly be alive. Joy is part of that. Like so you delight in the love of life and to bring a spirit of fun to all that you do. So this is going to help you by or how do I word this even? It's going to help you by you getting into a space where you can allow joy into your life. Because for some of you, I feel like even if you were holding joy in the palm of your hand, you wouldn't know what it looked like. And you would probably reject it. Even if you did know what it looked like, you'd probably be like, nope, I don't want that. Why? Because I feel like some of you are holding on to traumas or holding on to things, right? Which again, create that wall, but you're holding on to trauma and holding on to things that maybe at one point you did feel joyous and then something happened and that joy was taken from you, or you feel it was taken from you. And so now it's like, oh, I don't want to let myself go there. Because if I allow myself to start to feel joy, somebody might take it away. It might run away from me. I might not have it. Right? So instead of, it's like, I'm not even going to take the chance. I'm not even going to venture out. I'm not even going to give myself the opportunity to experience true joy. And I mean like you being just you. I'm not talking about you with other people, right? You and going out and doing things to bring joy. Like, I'm talking about you being in a state of joy just by being, right? You don't have to be doing nothing. Nothing. You could be sitting in the middle of an empty field with no phone, no radio, no nothing, and feel absolutely full of pure joy and loving life and don't need nothing. This is what I feel is why these activations are coming up for you, because I feel like it's trying to help you to create that in your life. And I feel like I need to say the only way you can do that is by being it. Because God's going to bring back to you whatever you're sitting in. So if you're sitting in a space of, I don't deserve this, I don't, this isn't for me, I'm afraid of this, whatever, then that's what you're going to get back. Because God doesn't speak a language, not English, not, any other language that we have on this planet. God speaks energy. So if you're sitting in the space of, I'm not enough, guess what? God's going to keep showing you the same shit. But God also loves you enough to try to redirect you. Like, is this really what you want? Like, I'm going to show you. Like, you can get closer to the stove, but you're going to get burned. I'll keep trying to push you in the right direction, right? And so God is I feel like these things are coming about in your life to show you, like, you have the opportunity here to bring forth joy into your reality, into your experience. But again, you have to be willing to do the work. It's not just going to fall in your lap. And I do want to lovingly say that I feel a big part of this is when you align with your purpose, when you align with mission, when you align with that higher calling, or that calling that is much bigger than yourself. I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't feel like life is so much work, right? Because again, you're not resisting what is meant for you, the whole reason why you came here in the first place, right? And so life just, I'm not saying you don't experience challenge, because you absolutely do. This is a healing journey, a learning experience that we are on for as long as we're in this body. And that comes with challenge. But life in general, how you experience yourself and other people in general, is far more joyous than if you're doing things that aren't aligned with you, that don't bring fire from within you, that don't make you feel like, I don't even know what the word is, how to describe it. Because it just feels like there's something larger than you, a force bigger than you, pushing you through, and you're allowing it to do that. And again, life just feels so much less heavy, far more joyous. Work doesn't feel like work. Work feels like play. You have purpose as well. You possess the determination and dedication to consciously demonstrate love. So here's the thing. The key words that are standing out for me here are obviously purpose, because you have mission uncovered already. So that's basically God saying, I said what I said. This is about you aligning with aligning with what is truly meant for you, your purpose, your reason for being here, right? And then secondly, it's confirming for me as a reader that message that I've been giving you about walking the walk. You have to put the work in, right? You have to be determined. You have to be dedicated. You have to be intentional, right? It's not just going to fall in your lap. Another thing I love about your cards, these here, is that they both have these beautiful rainbow colors around them. And rainbow color is often viewed as God's protection, Creator's protection, Divine's protection. And you have it on both cards here. You have it on this card as well, right? And it's a bit here on this solar light upgrade card as well. So you have a tremendous amount of protection, which I feel like is probably, I want to say, like, for some of you, the things you've experienced in your life and you're still here, like, God definitely has something bigger for you, right? Because for some of you, the things you've experienced in your life could have killed you. You could have died. I don't know what that means. I don't know who that's for, but there are things that I feel like you could have experienced, right? And even if you didn't experience, something that could have potentially killed you, right, very easily, you're here for a reason. God is showing you have purpose. It's up to you whether or not you're going to take advantage of that, whether or not you're going to step into who you're supposed to be. If you're going to acknowledge that part of yourself, right? But again, I feel like you keep hitting these roadblocks, or you have, and you're like, why does this keep happening? Because the things that you are trying to pursue are likely external things. That includes people, that includes jobs, that includes living situations, money, cars, whatever it is. That includes all of those things. When really what you need to be doing, or what you're being encouraged to do, is to go within, to align with your purpose, right? And I'm going to say this so lovingly, but it is verbatim, like the words I just had come in. or like you've been sleeping on yourself. Literally sleeping on yourself. Like, or I shouldn't say literally, but you've been sleeping on yourself in the sense of you've kind of, I don't know for how long, it feels like a good chunk of time, have been essentially sleepwalking through life, just skating on by, right? Like, I feel like for some of you, you've put in minimal effort to change your experience, to essentially like redefine your life, right? To gain some sort of internal balance. Like, I feel like you've been sleeping on yourself, right? Like, not putting forth the amount of effort that you know you could be in every area of your life. And maybe some of you are hyper focused on one area, right? And so you feel like, oh, I'm doing really good in this space, but then you feel empty as shit in other spaces, right? And it's like, because it's not what you're supposed to be doing. But you have to do what you feel is best for you. Discern this information for yourself, right? Don't make decisions that you're like, oh no, I'm totally good. If this isn't for you, it's not for you, right? And you have, again, I want to make it very clear, you have to make decisions that are best for your life. I'm not living in your shoes. I'm reading these cards and energy, right? But I want to lovingly say, like, I feel like a lot of things haven't worked out because it's not meant for you anyway. And I think to some extent, if this is for you, you probably know that. Whatever it is, right? Maybe it's like stupid habits, right? And I mean, I'm saying it's not the most delicate way to put it, right? But like stupid habits, like things that aren't beneficial for you, right? Yeah, I feel like you've been neglecting you. So looking deeper into this, yeah, look at this. You got the Ten of Swords. Look at that. I mean, it's like a fucking fence. I mean, I know like it's literally these 10 swords in this man's back, if you can see that. So here's the thing about the Ten of Swords, and I want to say this very clearly because it's not often an energy that I get with this card. Not that I see it a whole ton, but most often when I get this Ten of Swords, I usually have the energy coming through of, or more often I should say, I have this energy coming through of like, oh, we can only go up from here, right? Like, the worst is over, right? Type of thing. Like the hidden things are being revealed. There's no more hiding, right? Type of thing. In this case, which again is quite rare to my recollection, I'm getting this backstabbing of yourself. And I feel like this is being activated to help you so you don't keep doing that. Ten of Swords in the upright, according to your traditional Rider-Waite tarot, is this energy of failure, collapse, defeat, and backstabbing, or a final ending, right? Because you can't, like, what's the point in kicking a dead horse? Right? And I feel like God is trying to say, like, this is not the way you're supposed to be going. It's going to fail. You're going to feel defeated because it's not meant for you. I feel like God's trying to collapse the other shit so that you can help yourself. So you can stop backstabbing you. Because the only thing, like when you aren't truthful with you, when you don't honor what your truth is, when you're not being authentic, right? You literally are backstabbing yourself. You're literally telling yourself, I can't trust me. My feelings don't matter. What I want to, I don't matter. Right? It's literally what you're saying. I don't matter. Right? And so I feel like, again, God is trying to bring this up, show this stuff to you to say, but you do matter. So stop backstabbing yourself. This path is only going to bring you defeat. Right? This path is only going to bring you defeat. So I feel like God's trying to bring that to a close. God's trying to close that cycle out by showing you, right? You have the Knight of Pentacles here. Yeah. Because God, it's like, take responsibility. Put the work in. Knight of Pentacles is on the more, I don't know, positive aspects or positive side. Sorry, I was like kind of off screen there. Is that responsible, like hardworking type of energy, right? And you've got to take responsibility. Again, your outer world. Look at this, because Pentacles is your outer world. Okay, it's the physical world. It's your health. It's your finances. It's your stability. It's your job. It's your living situation. It's your car situation, right? That's what Pentacles are. What else? Is there anything else I'm missing? Let me think. Yeah, it's your experience, right? Physical world. Swords is air energy. Air energy is your awareness, your intellect, your logic, your perception. It's your mind, right? So until you stop backstabbing yourself, right, and fix what's going on internally through this inner discovery, through finding sacredness, your physical world, right? Until you take responsibility for what's going on internally and put the work in, your physical world is not going to mirror it back to you. So if you want to change how you're experiencing the world, then start within, because as within, so without, as above, so below. Okay? So literally, this is why these things are being activated to help you. I'm also getting fear again. And here's what I think the fear is about. You have the Queen of Swords. This is truth. Truth. This is also Libra energy. Weird. Right? Because this is about you sitting in your truth, honoring your truth, being of this clear mind, being perceptive of yourself, the world around you, how you impact the world, how you move in the world. This is about truth. And I think that's why it's bringing up fear. Right? Because you like, this Queen of Swords can be super guarded, can be a little bit of what I would refer to as like a savage, right? Because she can be very straightforward, very to the point, kind of a bitch. But the thing of it is like, the reason that it comes off that way is because she's being truthful. And some people aren't prepared for that, right? I mean, she can also be very cold-hearted and bitter because she doesn't have that clear state of mind. She isn't sitting in her truth, right? She's not balanced, right? And so there's this cold and, kind of guarded or sharp energy that can be displayed. But I feel like the big thing of it is here is like, this is about you getting in line with your truth, like for real, because we have this, there's energy of stop backstabbing yourself, right? Stop betraying yourself, take responsibility for yourself, right? And put the work in and align with your truth. This is why this is why this stuff is happening, to activate this within you, to help you to get into this space of truth, to get into this space of honoring you, to get into this space of putting in the work, being determined and dedicated to you, to your truth. Take it as it resonates. Why is this important for your soul's journey? I mean, I think we've pretty much covered that, but yep. This is important for boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? It's important for you to know your truth, because if you know what your truth is, you don't need other people to, what's the word? Like, hold you up, right? You don't need other people to hold you up. There's no need for dependency if you know your truth. You really don't. Like that non-attachment or soul sovereignty and freedom energy that I've been getting for 2022 through my membership readings. That is a practice. Again, it's a practice of like non-attachment. And the only way that you can do that is by creating boundaries, by saying no. Why would you, how do I word this? The only reason that you wouldn't have boundaries or wouldn't be able to say no is because of fear. Right? I'm afraid of somebody leaving me because I don't do what they ask. I'm afraid to say no because if I do, they might not talk to me. I'm afraid that if I say no, they'll leave. I'm afraid if I, need space, that this is going to happen or this is going to happen or what have you. Like the only reason that people don't have boundaries is because they're afraid of what will happen if they put them up, or they don't realize that they need them. And here, if you look at this card, like she has all of these hands that are like trying to get a piece of her, right? And so putting up those boundaries allows her to, if you see that in the middle of her dress there, it's her alignment. It allows her to stay in alignment with herself by creating these boundaries, right? Because what happens, Libra, every interaction you have, and I mean that, every interaction you have, whether it's liking something on social media, watching a movie, walking outside, passing a stranger by on the street, whatever it is, every single interaction you have is an energetic exchange. Every single one. You essentially trade paint with the energies around you. And if you aren't aware of what you need, if you're not aware of your truth, if you're not aware of your sacredness, you will trade paint with anything and everything, which ultimately, right, is a transfer of energy or an exchange of energy, and it does affect you, whether you realize it or not, whether you believe it to be true or not, it does. We are energetic beings. And so this need for boundaries is so that you can stop trading paint with everything that's not meant for you. I also feel like there's an importance here about essentially, and maybe this is just for somebody specific, but this, I feel like part of this is about bringing you to your truth, bringing you to your mission, bringing you to your purpose, creating this inner fire within you, and helping you to find that sacredness of who you are, because you have been codependent on other people for far too long. And I feel like God is saying, no, we're not doing this no more, Libra. We're not playing this game no more. You've got to stand on your own 2 feet. You have to be able to move through life. How do I word this? Like being plugged into your own battery, right? So it's important for you because it's establishing your, essentially like your, I don't know, like your solo career, I guess is a good way to put it, right? You have a mirror who or what is triggering you. So yeah, this is important because it, I feel like this is important because it's trying to show you the things, again, that are not meant for you. Not meant for you. These 2 cards together, more often than not, creates this message or brings about this energy of something needs to change. Right? The things that, and triggers aren't necessarily bad, right? Because they help you to grow. They show you things that you need to be looking at closer, right? And maybe boundaries triggers you. Maybe being alone triggers you, right? But this is all about, I feel, like I said, God is essentially trying to redirect you, which is why these boundaries may be showing up. You may be getting triggered. This month may be very challenging for you, right? Because it's trying to shake you free from these illusions that are not your truth, and encourage you to put the work in so that you can figure out what that is, so that you no longer feel like you have to rely on other people to feel valuable, to feel purposeful, to feel important, to feel happy, right? You'll be able to experience these things within your own being. So guidance or advice, encouragement for you moving forward. I mean, here's the thing. You have Earth Angel, and I feel like there's a couple of messages coming through here. One being, there's encouragement in the sense that you, I don't feel, are alone. Okay, I feel like you have support in the other realms, potentially through angels. Maybe you feel that, maybe you've acknowledged it, or felt that at one point or another, right? And it doesn't have to be something super spiritual, right? Maybe you've simply said, oh, like that particular animal reminds me of so and so, and then you see it and you acknowledge it as, you know, an angel being around you, someone you love, right? I do feel like they're around you. So that's one side of this for you, Libra. But I also feel like there's this element of, I feel like, again, like God, source, universe, whatever, has been giving you these little like nudges, these little things that I feel like they've already been happening, like even prior to the month of December, but definitely in December as well. I feel like you've been experiencing these little things where you feel like you're being nudged, like um, to essentially be more like an angel. Like as corny as this might say, which I mean, corny for some, maybe only because I'm like a 90s kid, or well, I was born in the late 80s, but you know, I grew up in the 90s. And so we had those like, what would Jesus do bracelets, right? Um, and I mean, I ask myself that all the time, but I feel like this is something like this is the guidance or advice that I feel like is coming through for you. Like, what would Jesus do? Right? Ask yourself in any given moment, because Jesus, as an ascended master, did nothing but display unconditional love. And if you're asking yourself, what would Jesus do in every situation, whether it's about you, someone else, an experience, whatever, healing, what you should eat, I don't even care. If you're asking, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? And it comes from this place of unconditional love, you like essentially can't go wrong. So I feel like if Jesus is, you know, that truth, that love, that you can't go wrong type of thing, then the guidance for you moving forward, right, is essentially asking you to align with that, and eventually, I feel, could lead you to aligning with your truth, right? Not just Jesus, like the truth of that Jesus was, like the love, the truth, right? But your truth. So it's almost like, oh, if you don't know where to start, right? How do I align with mission? How do I align with purpose? How do I figure out what this is? I don't even know. Start asking God, Jesus, the angels to inspire you to take whatever steps you need to take next. So again, like, what would Jesus do? Right? And I feel like, again, I'm going to bring it up again because in a previous reading for you, I said you can't just expect God to answer a question if you don't even ask it. Right? So I feel like this is how you start to move in that direction. I feel like this is the advice or the guidance that you're being given. Like, if you don't know where to start here. What would Jesus do? What would God do? What would, you know, to the best of your ability? And I feel like this is how you're going to really start to create shift in your life. through the month of December, which is beautiful, Libra, right? Like it does feel like this could be a challenging month for you, but it could also be an incredibly transformative month for you. You could really start to create major shifts, major change, if you should decide to be dedicated to your own growth, to your own joy, to your own journey, right? To your own healing. So, Libra, that is what I have for you for the month of December 2022. I pray that something here has been helpful or valuable for you, that it resonated with you in some way, shape, or form. If it has, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, and or subscribing or commenting. You can do that too. I really do appreciate it. It lets YouTube know that there may be something for someone else to see here, so they push it out and it helps the channel to grow. So thank you so much for doing that. I pray that whatever you're doing this month, wherever you are, however this shows up for you, that you recognize the strength that you have within you, recognize that you are not alone, recognize that essentially you are what you seek and you hold the power within you to be able to change it at any given moment in time. I hope you have an incredible month. Take care of your beautiful, beautiful soul, and I hope to see you in 2023. Bye.